my colored pens? They're all gone.
No choice.
I'm prohibited from using colored pens. I don't know what infraction I broke to have this result, but anyway, only black pens for Bob now. That's because the others don't show up good, of course. I wanted to maybe give you a different way of looking at our predicament. When I get this off, okay. If you think of this as the top part of it, it can be the mind. The Course says that we have a split mind. Let's just put a somebody drove a wedge into the top of your head with a big piece of metal here, and I guess that would split it, wouldn't it? I mean, this side can't talk to that side now. I mean, we would look funny if we had such a ridge coming out of our. Maybe some people do. I don't know. So you got a split mind. Now, how did you get? I'm speaking as in a metaphor, of course, but that is the term the Course uses. How did we come about having this? Different people are going to be thinking about this in different ways, I suppose. Who did this? Was it a physician trying to cure your? It looks like a lobotomy, doesn't it? A little bit. So that's what I think of. They used to do things like that. I hope they don't. I don't know whether that ever had a good effect. I have no idea. That's what they were worried about in Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You remember that movie? It's pretty. Yeah, it's a pretty old movie, but they put people away in an institution, and if they didn't behave, they gave them a lobotomy, I suppose. But they did do that there in that movie. And about the people in the cuckoo's nest. Well, the Course says the cuckoo's nest is larger than you think. And it's not just up in trees or in mental institutions. The whole place here is a cuckoo's nest. And I guess we're the cuckoos. So why not? We have reason that's good enough here if your mind's split. Now, let's consider an idea. Suppose your idea is that, well, as soon, throat's a little scratchy this morning. As soon as you take on physical form, we're spirits. We're not physical forms, but we have a physical form, and we run it around here, there, and yonder. When we took on physical form, maybe that's just what happens when you have physical form. And the law of one says that's not true. It says that there have been planets where we've had physical forms and no split. So physical form is not the cause. That's a really interesting statement that I just made in case it slipped by you. You can have physical form without a split mind. That is a teaching of the law of one. And it says it didn't happen on Earth, it happened on this other planet. Doesn't give the name, but it's a lot closer to the center of our galaxy. It says it just happened. And people did not lose their connection to God. They maintained a constant communication with God. It maybe wasn't as the direct indwelling that you would have in, or oneness that you would have in heaven, but there was a connection. The Course doesn't mention this. The Bible doesn't mention this. I don't know of anything else that mentions it. Maybe there's something. But I'm glad it was mentioned, assuming it's true, because it lets us know we don't have to think physical form is what's doing it. So what else could be a cause? our choice. We just using our mind, we can make we can make choices with our minds, and we can say, who's got a big piece of iron that you can just, put in here into my mind and split it in two? Who can do that? Well, but we ask for it ourselves. If we were crazy enough to ask for it ourselves, we don't have to have our mind split to be crazy. We're already there, The course does teach we are insane. That's what I mean by cuckoos. We're insane. If this is your condition, why wouldn't you be insane? So I think a lot of people might think, well, it was our choice. And you've got to just say, well, we were already insane if that's our choice. Who but an insane person would say, please give me, those people that get lobotomies, it is my understanding, they don't ask for them. I think the doctor in the movie, in our world years ago when that happened, I don't guess that's still happening. I don't know. I doubt if those people requested it, doctor, please, do this to me. So our choice. How about someone else's choice? Well, who would that be? Well, I don't know. We'll worry about that later. But in other words, I'm just saying, if it's going to be a choice, it would have to be either ours or somebody. Well, here on earth, it's the doctor's choice to give you a lobotomy. We'd have to say that. And maybe your family, usually if you're really, really sick physically and can't choose for yourself, they'll ask your family what should be done next, But someone else, in our world, other people do choose for us on occasion. If they're sending us to jail because of something we did, that's probably their choice. You probably didn't go up to the police officer and say, please put me in jail here. I've just robbed a bank or whatever. So I can't think of it. See, what other, of course. I almost forgot. I mean, I'm just writing down possibilities here that I think of. I almost forgot about sin, which would probably be the most prevalent answer. That if you just ask people on the street, what's wrong with people's minds? If they go out to give a religious answer, they would probably say, well, they're all sinners, because a lot of people believe that. I almost forgot because the course says there's no such thing. So it's kind of easy to forget if you're not having it brought to your attention now, pretty often. Well, let's just cover all the bases here. Some people might believe God did it to you. Or the devil. I'm just, what am I leaving off? Anybody else thinking of anything else?
Desire.
Desire. Okay, that would be our choice.
Yeah, before the choice, we have desire. We have a desire to.
Okay. Thank you. In other words, prior desire. That would then lead to our choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it were sin, that would be the prior desire. I want to do some sinning here while I'm here. Please.
Woohoo.
Nail it in. Anything? Yes, man.
Intention?
That would be like desire.
I think it's covered.
Sure.
So we have a prior desire or intention. Now, you got to be thinking here, who in their right mind would want to have such a thing occur? Why would you have such a desire or intention? And you say, well, we're not in our right mind, but until this thing comes in, I presume we are. I mean, God, that's the whole point of the split mind, yes.
are we talking about free will in a way here? It's the
Well,
good and the bad at the same time.
You couldn't have a choice if you didn't have.
yeah, okay, let's see, how would we, yes, I think we're talking about the good and the bad, if you like. I'm gonna write that down, to see if we can work that in. I'm not,
Duality.
because if you have choice, of course, I will try to come back to it. It probably does fit in. I just don't see right exactly where it does. That, but before, what I'm saying is that before the mind split, there is no bad. And there is no prior intention, because there's nothing wrong with us, because we're still exactly as God created us. We don't even have bodies. Where would the bad come from? There's no, in other words, the split is going to be the thing that makes that possible. That's the way you look at that. If the mind is not split, there's no bad. In fact, the way the Course says it is that separation is a split mind, or maybe it's a split, yeah, something like that. You don't have one without the other.
I would say the prior desire is the desire to experience separation,
Right.
and then the separation causes the split mind.
Right.
You're getting awful subtle on me here.
Tiny mad idea. Tiny mad
I
idea.
don't know whether I can cope with that or not.
Okay.
Well, TMI, tiny mad idea. That would, so I see that people are focusing in on our choice here. Tell me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that's what I'm hearing. And here's a thought now. The tiny mad idea. Let's draw two pictures. I mean, it's not God, it's not the devil. Let's not go. That's not. I need boardroom. I don't mind them having as options, but I need boardroom here. There are two possibilities here. You've got a spirit with a mind that is not split. Therefore, if it's not split, there's no idea of separation at all. Not split. Okay. And so it just has thoughts of perfection here. It's thinking with God and creating with God, for that matter.
Could you say enlightenment?
Yes, you could say that. It's just enlightened. Yes.
In the light.
It's perfection.
In the light.
It's in the light.
It is.
And it is the light. Oh, that's fine. Now, I had some thought that was elusive. Okay. Does the tiny mad idea come before the split or after? I don't know whether I even want to go there. I'm not sure I know the answer. If I don't know the answer, I don't like to go there. But waste of time, waste your time, my time, everybody's time. I think all that's wrong. I'm just going to assert. I may not be able to defend it, but let's just try it anyway. I would like to say that because we are focusing, all this has to do with our choice here. I would like to suggest, let's put it that way, that none of this really applies. See where it goes. Okay. And as you no doubt suspect, I'm not just speculating wildly. Do have something in mind here. I have a destination, if you like, and the destination is this. Not that. That's a big change. Someone else's choice, not ours. You say, "Oh, that makes us a victim, doesn't it?" Well, not necessarily. If you agreed with it, that wouldn't make you a victim. I'm saying this because it's what the law of one says, and I like it. It says that it was not our choice. You say, well, if it's not our choice, well, why are we here again? We were convinced, and we willingly came. There's no coercion of that. We do have free will. We're allowed to make choices, and so we made a choice. I'm not throwing this out entirely, but it was because with undue influence. So I'm actually saying that it's both of these, but this one came first and this one came second. And you say, well, does the course teach that at all? Well, not really, but it alludes to it. It does say something sort of tantalizing in that regard. It just emphasizes our choice. It does not emphasize this. It does not deny it. It just doesn't emphasize it. And where does it even mention this? I'll give you a quote. All that Adam heard from the serpent in the Garden of Eden were lies. It said I'm missing the quote just a little bit, but that's essentially what it says. He says he heard lies. Someone tells you, okay, we're at the food market. I'm going to be the one that lies. And I tell you, those grapes over there, they're really great. They're all rotten, actually, but I'm telling you, they're really great. And if you decide to believe me, your choice, then you got the rotten grapes, and you buy them and you take them home and you got the rotten grapes. And you eat rotten grapes all week, or throw them away would be better, but whichever. So I'm not throwing out your choice. I'm just saying that you and I were lied to, and I'm saying that because the course says that is so. This is a fact. You can look it up yourself. All that Adam heard from the serpent were lies. So now I know we don't know exactly what the serpent is, but it's something that Adam would listen to and believe. He didn't say, "Get out of my face, you awful thing." He said, "Oh, really?" Well, I think I'll go there. So there was an influence. Now, I know what you're going to think here when I say it. Bob, you're just trying to get us off the hook. But listen, maybe Bruno's got another thought.
Before we heard the first lie, we forgot to laugh at it.
Yeah.
Or when we did.
Yeah, we did.
That's the problem with the whole thing.
I appreciate your saying that. Actually, I thought you were going to say something else, but I don't know why. But Bruno has background in Catholicism, so sometimes we get a nice. So does our South, like Sally does too. Sometimes we get some nice Catholic thoughts in here. I'm not, so I don't have too many nice Catholic thoughts. I just have nice Baptist thoughts. And of course, they're all rubbish, but both.
Exactly.
But we can still pull them in occasionally just to compare them. So I'm not really suggesting something that's counter to the course. That's what I want to make sure you understand. The course does say that the serpent lied. We know what a lie is, to Adam. And what's he lying about? He's saying, well, you can leave the Garden of Eden. God won't kill you. It's going to be okay. Yes, Dad.
This just came to my mind. Richard used to emphasize that because Adam heard the serpent, whatever, but Adam never woke up from the dream. It doesn't indicate that he woke up from the dream. In other words, we're a part of the dream.
We're dreaming. Yes, I understand. Yeah, that is true. And so what we're talking about here is what led us to want to dream, to have to dream. What led us to take on forms. So the first thing I wanted to rule out is to say that the taking on the physical form was not the cause. Some people might think it is. So I'm just just lay, I'm putting that up there right at first. And I'm saying, well, it was our choice. Yes, sure. But that's not the first cause. This is someone, and in other words, put it this way. When this is not here, this is not here, and you get the physical form without any split mind. Let me say that again. I'm trying to compare here two planets. Here's our world, and here's some other planet over here. And if you put the people here and don't give them the lobotomy, they do fine. They're listening to God all the time. They're in a state of inspiration. It's kind of like says in Genesis, and God came in and walked with them in the cool of the day or something. You know, what's the problem here? There is no problem. And people lived like that just fine, but they didn't have a split mind. Now, come over on the earth. Now you have a split. It's not planet Earth either, by the way. There's nothing particularly awful about planet Earth. It's about other matters, and someone told us that would be the lobotomy will be a good thing. I then wouldn't put in those words. I'm sure when you're lying, you don't use the right words. When you lie, you use the wrong words, of course. And the emphasis here is on the fact that our mind is split. We went along with it, but it was someone else's choice that really wanted it to occur. And I would just say that in the Garden of Eden, say we're just we're innocent and naive, and somebody that God has allowed to be present there. We said it's okay, and we said, well, all right, sounds interesting. Let's do that. And that if this is not here, that doesn't occur. Now, at least not all the time. Yeah, there was one instance, a whole planet and its peoples and that lifetime where that did not occur. And so I'm putting a great emphasis on this because the law of one makes it more clear what it is, and so it makes it understandable to me. I understand what's going on. I do understand what's going on in terms of its explanation. And so why not? Is there anything else to add? I thought. Anybody got a thought about this or so forth? I'm trying to shift because I don't the onus off of us because I actually don't believe it belongs there. See, sometimes we think, God, we must have been so freaking crazy to make this choice and come away from God. We're not crazy. We're crazy now because we have a lobotomy. Why wouldn't you be? Say, well, what other possible reason could there be other than our own, what you may call it? Yeah.
We had the lobotomy because it was our choice to split. The duality started on the decision to split.
Yeah, I understand that.
Well, I know.
And I'm trying to say something different.
But I don't see anybody else that you need to involve. We made a decision to turn our backs on love. So, there's only one choice, really. You either choose the Holy Spirit or choose the I that you want to believe.
Sure.
Right.
There's no problem with that.
So, So that's the tiny mad idea. We forgot to laugh at it.
Okay. The last one you said, which what we want to choose, Holy Spirit or whatever, we're not talking about that. That's most certainly true. That's like how to get out of here.
Right.
And I'm talking about how to get in here.
Well, getting in here is the same thing. There's only separation. There's only the atonement. So what we complicate the whole configuration of what we think is we're going through is by the complexity of it, and it's.
Well, getting in is different from leaving. We can't leave without God's help. That's what the Course says. It says,
Right.
If God had not offered you help here, you would have condemned yourself to oblivion.
because we chose the wrong teacher.
And that's how you, and that's about leaving. In other words, you can't leave by your own steam. See? I'm saying you can't enter by your own steam either.
So who is this person or thing that got him here?
Oh, that's a big question here. Who is this guy? We'll get him.
Does Law 1 tell you?
Yeah, I don't know whether, yes, it does. And you'll have to think about this for a while to decide whether you want to keep it. I wanted to let you know how I deal with such things when they're new ideas, because before I went to Unity, I had never heard of anything like this. I've been thinking about spiritual or philosophical things, but not getting anywhere really. But I still had a lot of thoughts. And
Bob.
when I decided, what?
Hey, Bob, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Bob's behind you. Hey, on the split mind idea, do we have a choice in that, or is it just the way it is?
I think you need a split mind to have choice, actually. But let me go back to this little thing I wanted to say is that when I first came across all these ideas, I already had some ideas, and I decided, well, are they all wrong? And I said, I'm just going to take all of them. I'm going to put them over in a little shelf in my mind and pull the door down. They'll still be there if I want to go get them, but I'm going to listen to the people that are teaching me the Course in Miracles, because it sounded dumb to me at first. I'm just too scientific to accept any of this stuff easily. You know, I like causes that I can see and effects that I can see and all that. And I said, I'm going to listen to them because they're happy. I was in a group of people, and they're talking about that made them feel happy. They've got there must be something here. So I put all these ideas that I learned from Protestant theology, because that's what I've been studying, and just put them aside. I have never gone back to that place. I guess it's still there. It's just, it was not useful. It didn't help me. But if a better example. This is a much better one. I happened to read Yogananda's book. I've forgotten what the name of his book. Autobiography of a Yogi. It used to be practically the only spiritual book you could find going to the store and looking at their bookshelf. And he would describe things that I simply could not accept. People moving right out of their bodies and being at two places the same. This is a real spiritual guy, and he has a bunch of psychic stuff happening. I didn't believe any of that. That's rubbish. But I knew that he was not a dishonest person. He is not lying to me. That is his understanding. That is his experience. And so I just put it in one of these little boxes in my mind. I can't accept that now. Well, I don't have any trouble with it. That box is open now. I don't have any trouble with that, any of that. But then it needed to be in a box. So that's what I do with new ideas. And that's the way I suggest you look at them. Consider them, but don't just swallow them immediately. You got to make sure they feel right to you. If they don't feel right, you don't need them. With that little preamble, I'm going to come back to Sally's question. What the Law of One says is this. It says the first thing was infinity, the infinite mind, and it would accept all possible ideas. You know, what we would call good ones as well as bad ones, because ideas can't hurt each other. The idea of love and the idea of hate, those ideas don't fight. I mean, they can't kill you. Oh, the idea of love just scored a knockout punch on the idea of ideas don't fight. They just are ideas after all. Of course,
Why would hate even be involved in infinity?
I don't know. That might not even be a good example because I don't really know what all different.
Kind of.
Well, sure. Oh, I can answer that. It would. I got to reword it a little bit. Idea of destruction. I think
I know, but again, the idea of law of one and infinity to be a.
I don't know the answer to your question. Yeah. It's the reason I'm fumbling with it. That's what I do when I don't know. I just fumble around a little bit. Hoping that maybe one of you will come up with the answer.
Before or after the course?
What?
Is law one?
It's after.
Yes,
it's after, about 10 years or something
But I
like.
mean, in terms of explaining or
Oh,
saying where we are.
Oh, it's
not-
before, because yes,
Well, then again, if it was pure infinity and perfect, where did hate or bad things ever even exist?
I think that,
That's the part that I'm
okay, let's
confused
just,
about. The course kind of explains,
if love can exist, now love can exist in the mind as a thought.
yeah.
Love wants to join and say, I'm connected to you. Well, hate at the thought level would just be, I'm not connected and I don't want to join. That is as good as you could get, probably, as close as you could get to that really is not hate. So I would say that word is a poor word that I use. And just say a thought of separation. I want to be separate, something like that.
Love or
Yeah.
fear.
Can spirit be reduced to words?
What?
Can spirit be reduced to words?
I don't think so.
So, but we're wearing words out
Yes.
all over the place.
Guess
How
what?
can we kind of bring spirit more into it?
Good idea.
Hell if I know.
Let's be
I appreciate your honesty. I
Experience. It can
meditated.
only be
It
experienced.
can, truth can only be experienced. That's what the course teaches. And since spirit is truth, we would want to put it there as well. And then what the course, what the law of one says, it doesn't say that hate is in the mind. That would, just threw that out. It's just all,
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell law of one is.
okay. It took me 10 years, 20, whatever. But I do have some grasp of it. And so what it says is that there was an original thought. I presume that's a thought of perfection. But there were other thoughts as well, but there was an original thought. That's the important one, you might say. And then everything else is a distortion from it. Love would be a thought, but it's a distortion from the original thought. Freedom is also a distortion from it. And so I don't think it ever tells you what the original thought is. So it must have been pretty good if freedom and love are the closest distortions away from it. It must have been a pretty good thing. Yes, Matt.
I'm so glad that Jesus says we understand nothing in this experience because I'm not understanding
Well,
any of this.
I'm just asking you to wait a while.
I just seem to remember that in the course, Jesus does say, now he may not have used the word insanity, I don't remember, but he said a tiny mad idea came into and I don't know how this could have even happened.
It came from this person here.
But I mean, if we were perfect and eternal in the first place, and we were with God per se, then where could we ever have gotten this mad, crazy, insane?
I'm going to try and give an answer to that, but you got to take the ears and push them out a little bit to get a bigger opening here.
If I understand.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It just simply says that the infinite creator became aware, but he did not have complete self-awareness. That's the ticker right there. He did not have his self-awareness of what he is. He was not total.
You're saying God, our Father?
No, I'm saying what I'm calling the infinite, call it the IC, that's our infinite creator. The IC, whoever owns the apartment building,
Landlord.
there's another word.
Superintendent.
Superintendent.
Super.
I don't know. Anyway, the infinite creator is infinite. God is not infinite in the same way. God is not allowed to have an unloving thought. Anybody want to argue with that one? No, of course not.
Hell no.
We believe that. We've believed that for too many years, you see. Well, this thing can, but it doesn't know that's really what it is. I'm saying that there's an original problem with the everything. And the original problem was this infinite creator did not fully understand what it was. Now, what is it and what it did in order to overcome that was to create what the Course calls God, our Father. And then God, our Father, created us.
Several elements, yeah.
But the way the infinite creator overcomes this thing is to project his ideas out through God. He doesn't trust himself to project it directly, I guess. And then watch us and see what we do.
God.
Making everything human.
And this someone else, which is someone saying, we got the infinite creator needs the kind of experience that will result from a split mind. Here's, I'm going to give you a bottom that is okay with you, isn't it? Well, I don't know about that. Oh, it'll work out fine. It'll be, I'm doing the lies now. Let me just shove it in here. And at some point we agree to it. I'm saying that it has nothing to do, sin is not even in the right ballpark. It has nothing to do with that. And it doesn't have, and after this is in here, do we feel separate from God? Well, of course. This part of the mind doesn't, this part does, but they're split. So the law of one says there's an inherent situation with infinity. When it becomes aware, it does not come in with total self-awareness. This was also this was the teaching of Meister Eckhart as well. He's a Catholic priest, I think in France in the Middle Ages.
Monk.
Huh?
Monk.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you, monk.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a theologian about 1200.
Yeah, he would say that God alone in the Godhead is uncreated and does not comprehend fully what it is. He says the same thing the law of one says about that. And it's the Godhead because the God that's uncreated makes one that, oh, and when you create God, you do not give him free will. He is not free to not love. He's not free to
Who
do
isn't
that.
free?
Huh?
Who isn't
God.
free?
God. He is
not.
not free to be unloving.
How can we lowly humans know that?
We can't.
Mistrust him.
We
So
can't.
why
This-
say it
It's,
other than a hypothesis to explain?
Well,
something
Revelation.
well, it's
would do
channeled.
that.
It's just like the course. The course and both the course and the law of one are channeled works. And they do not, no particular person came out with these ideas. What was her name? Eckhart. Carla Eckhart was in a trance and said this. Helen Schumann was not in a trance and said the course. They're not, I don't know how to translate your remark onto them. I don't quite know how to do that. But certainly I'm not going to be coming up with these words. If that's your fear, please be rest assured.
We live with words and we want more than that, but we just can't let go of the words.
Revelation is supposed to be perfect communication from God to
Yeah.
us
As
as
a
an
good word.
experience. No words can explain it.
There
So what
probably
are we here
was a
for?
time when we didn't need words at all, and we were simply telepathic. And when
How
we,
can we get
What we-
closer to that beyond
Yeah.
the words?
I'm not here to get closer to that. I'm here to be the light of the world. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't be here. I just wouldn't be here. There's no problem with getting closer to that, by the way. In fact, what the Course says, your greatest fear is that. So while we're here, we need to get to the place where we're not afraid of that, so that when the choice is offered to us, we can step in that direction. The Course calls this the fear of redemption. That's just a heading that was given to that section of the Course. And it says this is one of your greatest fears. That you will have to release the human understanding that's based on words, of course. And they are very inadequate, and we do want more. The Course is not, but I think that the more that we want actually is already there. It's just we're talking now about the various obstructions that we placed over it, and we cling to our obstructions and we describe them with words. But some words can also help us move them aside. In other words, that original quote that I never can remember. I ought to read that more often. When the course just begins, right in the very first here, it's going to tell us in the introduction, that's what it's called. Always takes me a while to find this. Finally, I have found the introduction. There's lots of different things, right? So there's a preface, and then there's a table of contents, and here's an introduction. Free will doesn't mean you can establish the curriculum. The curriculum can be wordy. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. This is the sentence. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love. That you're asking about the meaning of love, in my understanding. And it will not have anything to do with words. The course does not aim at teaching that. For that is beyond what can be taught. That's what I'm talking about, by the way. Throw that out there. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. So what Quentin said is very relevant. Words don't satisfy us. We want something else. And what the course says, you already have it. So don't bother seeking, or if you want to seek, go ahead, but I'm not going to help you. Because that's not the aim of the course, is to help you do that, because it doesn't believe it's there. So why should it help you? It wants to help you get to the blocks, to the awareness of love's presence. And as somebody else said, maybe Dan, that revelation is an experience of unspeakable love. And it's probably that which we are afraid of. So if I was to give you a meditation counter, so I said, I want you to sit and meditate. And this meditation counter has numbers on it. It tells you how deeply into meditation you're going. We'll start at 0. You hadn't started yet. Okay, now you got 1 unit of meditation energy in your mind. And it clicks up as you get better and better and better, as you get deeper into it. I think that what comes at some point, you would start saying, this feels so good. And I'm only at level 4. What's the top on top of the scale? There is no top of the scale. Okay. You say, if I feel this good at 4, I'm afraid if I get to 8, I won't come out of this. That is a real fear. It's a valid, by the way, in my personal opinion, it's a valid fear. I have it. I don't want to get to 8. I'm not supposed to leave yet, as far as I understand. If God overrules that, that's fine. I don't care. But that's my little understanding, is that I'm supposed to be here doing this and thinking like this. And if God said, Bob, no, actually, you don't have to do that. I said, hey, 8, 10, whatever. I wouldn't be here. I would not be here. Fact of my understanding myself. I'll be gone. I don't know whether I'd be in a coma, dead, or in the ground, but I would be gone. And so I don't want to go to 8 now. You can't help. You can't keep me away from 8, and I can't keep you away from 8. That's just where you're going. It's not a problem.
It's like trying to sprint do a marathon with a broken leg. You just ain't ready for it.
Yeah. Well, and we have more work to do here.
Healing our mind.
And helping others heal there. The statement is, forget not the purpose of the world is the healing of God's Son. The S-O-N, not S. I mean, the whole thing. Not just you, not just me, but all of us. That's the purpose of the world. Other than that, it's pointless. And like I say, once you get to 8, all these words are gone. Don't worry about not getting beyond words. You're gonna get there. You don't have a choice. You just flat out don't have a choice, because that's what you are. We're not words. And even if you were to learn to go out of the body, I've read books about that, not that I've done that. You don't use words there either. Monroe has written the really good books about that. He says you take a ball of mental energy that contains all the feelings of the situation as well as the pictures, and just throw the ball at the person. He gets it, and he throws his ball back at you. Well, that's going to be a whole lot more efficient than the words that we use. However, what the Course teaches us is that words actually can make a big difference. The Course is not so highfalutin as to, it's not going for that. It knows you already got it.
It's going for where we are.
It has to start where we are, and we don't have the telepathy ability. If we had that, this book wouldn't be here. We wouldn't need it.
I think one thing, many things have come to my mind. Oh, I'm sorry, but but I think not saying I'm solidified on this way of looking at it, but that when you speak, one of the traits is that it's where your mind is at, you know. But as you speak and use words, and again, I know we're playing with using words in different ways, but I mean, different. We're asking different questions of using the words right now, but I'm just going to, is that when you speak, there's something, one way of allowing you to kind of remove some of those barriers that open up. And I don't know if that's the right choice, but like we are so afraid to talk or to write things down, maybe writing is more forgiving in some ways, you know, but because that may be sort of where your mind is and it's unspeakable. But when I say that, I don't mean like that, but it's like, but doing that, it one element is speaking, it allows, it's kind of a freeing thing, you know, allows you to kind of remove some of those barriers.
You're saying that words can be used in a constructive way to help your mental energy flow better.
The mental, well, or
like singing a song,
or to remove the mental, not as something so tangent, but as to remove the mind barriers. So you you remove it because you see it or you sense it without knowing that it's becoming a barrier, because it opens up sort of that unknown or spiritual type thing.
Wouldn't chanting be an example of that? Like if you say,
I would think so too.
Just one sound again, om.
But I'm not, yeah, but the word, like, oh, it's like, they're there, and then it's like I'm bracketing it up too much, but it's more than just the healing or aspect of saying it and know where your mind is. It kind of removes the unspeakable that to open up what is seeing things a little bit differently or sensing it. So I guess I'm saying exactly what you're saying, but I'm saying something a little bit more that we are given words and stuff. We know that, and we play around, but it's I mean, I'm not gonna poo-poo words completely. I'm embarrassed by
well,
them,
we can't.
but it's like it's one tool to kind of remove.
We have to talk to each other, you know.
Like verbalizing is cathartic.
How imperfect we may do it at times, and it's on an individual and a great worldly way. It just unexplainably opens up sort of an understanding. You know, it gets you kind of at that different level, and it's not just, you know, the methodical chanting that kind of releases.
I have a quote that I would like to share with you. I think it's from Tennyson.
Oh, okay.
And it's the first two lines of a poem. Now, I don't remember what the name of it is. And it says, break, break, break on the crags. Let's see. I'm going to ask what, I forgot it. Break, break, break on thy crags, O sea, and would that I could utter the thoughts that arise in me. And you can just see this water breaking, and 50 or 1,500 maybe thoughts rush into your mind according to each different drop. and you're impressed with and amazed by what they are, but you don't exactly know what they are. There are too many,
Yeah.
you know.
That's weird because, this family survey things I used to do off and on are very informed. Is that like 30 years ago, that Tennyson was on Mom's top 20 list.
Oh,
besides
really?
A Course in Miracles.
Right.
It's like, and it was just a hodgepodge of different, but Tennyson was, and I forget what poem it was, but it may have been that one.
Finally, we're going to get to Quinn, and he's going to clarify this whole thing for us. Hopefully. Go ahead. What?
There are folks who've had mystical experiences, i.e. Robert Monroe, and their description of going beyond words sometimes are pretty damn good. It's kind of like, I think I can reach that or understand that or be that or something. So instead of the word salad constantly, read those and say God or whatever. I'm open to that experience, not words, experience.
Yeah. If that's
Because the experience cannot be equated with words.
No. Lived
Yeah.
experience.
Well, of course says that.
what, yeah, it says,
No universal, what is it?
curriculum? No.
Theology,
No universal theology. That's right.
but there is a
And each
universal
theology is a bunch of
experience.
words, of course.
Experience.
And so what we all know is that words do help us until we have that experience. And once you have that experience, you don't need them.
Yeah.
You know, and if you have that experience very strongly, you won't want to come back to here just so you hear yourself say some more words. Yeah, that will not work that way.
Yeah.
And so we are all going there. You see, like I say, it's just unavoidable. Our future is mystical,
We
not
just have to
physical.
use the tools that we have.
And this is a book in mind training, because a mind creates so many of those blocks. So you can use words to undo words. And this is using words here and training your mind to train your mind so that it lets go of as many of these blocks as possible. And chanting, I think, is a good example of that. And in the Buddhist tradition, they do that a lot. Probably in a Buddhist temple, you probably chant every day. I don't know. Maybe they did that in Christian monasteries as well. Probably. And so if we really were serious about that, Quinn, we would not be talking about words. We would be here chanting probably, or learning how to go out of the body, because that can be learned
Let's do
too.
that next week.
Well,
I believe I'd rather stick with the words.
I'm not going to do that because I don't want to.
We'll have it be our Tuesday
It's our
session.
I would not come back.
Isn't it?
I would not come back. I'm sorry.
No, I
Well,
wouldn't
it's where
either.
you're at.
We learn through words.
Yes, we do. Well, I think the end has come as far as this is concerned, so I'm packing my bag.
You two wrapped it up really well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank